welcome to KristenKellyTV. Today I'm going to be talking about why my relationship with Dave did not work out. If this is something you'd like to see, please continue watching. So first of all, I love Dave. I will always love Dave. Dave loves me. Dave will always love me. Dave and I will always be best friends. Dave is like amazing. I'm amazing. We love each other. We did not have a bad breakup. I do not hate him. He does not hate me. Before I was gonna shoot this, I was using a different camera and the camera wasn't working, so I called him. He told me how to fix it, but he actually accidentally took the battery charger for it, so I'm using this camera, which doesn't have the best sound, so sorry, I'm gonna try to talk loud for you guys. But yeah, I love him, he loves me. We're still in communications every day. When he was leaving or when he was moving out, his friend accidentally knocked over a candle and he Venmo'd me today for, to get the whole house cleaned, and, he has furniture that has to be removed and he Venmo'd me to pay for the furniture removal. So he is a good guy and he will always be Mochi and Yuki's dad. I don't have anything bad to say about Dave and I never will. Which is kind of funny because when I was telling people that we broke up, so many people just immediately wanted to talk shit about Dave. I told one of my friends and she was like, good, because you can do so much better. And I was like, no. Dave's amazing. Do not bash Dave. Just because we didn't work out does not mean that I want Dave attacked or, he didn't do anything wrong. We just did not work out as a couple, and sometimes that happens, it's doesn't make anybody a bad person, and you don't have to hate somebody just because your relationship ended. I'm friends with mostly all of my ex-boyfriends. I only have 2 ex-boyfriends I don't talk to, and those 2 ex-boyfriends, when I think about them, my skin just crawls because they both are horrible people. And yeah, it's so I try to remain friends with most of my exes, but it's they were in your life for a certain amount of time. You shared a life together. You shared experiences together. You clearly loved that person. So just because you didn't work out, you just don't ever want to talk to that person again. I don't know. I just do not understand that. And that has never been my philosophy or, I always want to remain friends because, you're in a relationship. You are best friends, So pretty much what happened was Dave's dad opened a new business in Washington, and Dave really wanted to move to Washington. He's been talking about moving to Washington for several months, and I've been saying, no, I don't want to move to Washington for several months. Washington is they have a lot of overcast, it's cold, it's rainy. I really enjoy being in California. I grew up in Massachusetts, and it's very cold there for most of the year, or half the year at least. So I did not want to move somewhere that was cold. With that being said, also my acting career really is not working out. I don't really go on auditions. When I do get auditions, most of the time I don't like the auditions. Most of the time the auditions aren't something that I even want to go for. And the ones that I do want to go for, I spend an hour and a half getting ready. I go to it. You're in the room for 2 seconds, and then for me, for the most part, I just don't book stuff. So, it's why stay in LA when I'm not really booking anything? And then also, when you do book stuff, you don't get paid the same as you used to get paid. When I first started going to acting lessons, there would be people in my class that were like, yeah, I got 2 commercials last year, and those people that got those 2 commercials, they were able to buy their house with 2 commercials. They were able to live on 2 commercials because you would make $40,000 on a commercial. So you could literally do a McDonald's commercial and live off of that commercial, but then, or any commercial for that matter, but now you get $800-900. I mean, Dave did a commercial and he made $5,000 on that commercial, and they took they took so much of it away in taxes. And it's you do all this training and classes and time and energy, and then you don't really get that big of a reward from it unless you were born into the industry, unless your parents are in the industry, unless you marry into the industry, unless it's not really what you know, it's who you know, 110%. So I mean, I know several people who don't even do acting, and they have gotten casted in things just because they were like out and about and somebody was like, you'd be great in this. But it's not like a starring role, you know? It's like, in order to get a starring role, it's very rare. And for me personally, I'm just over it. You know, I'm really like over LA in general. Like, I do love LA, and I have lived here for a long time. I moved when I was 19 to Los Angeles. So I've been here for a very long time, and I didn't start acting until I was probably 23, but I'm just over it. I'm glad that I gave acting a try, and I still love acting, and I still will act, you know, in, you know, skits and do fun stuff, but I don't want to pursue acting as a career, and I kind of haven't for a while. Like, I would get auditions and then I wouldn't want to go to them. So my agent actually, like, we had parted ways maybe 7 months ago because they would send me on these auditions that were, you know, stuff like topless girl running through park or this or that. And it's like, that's just not, that's not who I am. So I didn't want to do that. So I just really haven't been going to, and not only that, you have to pay for Actors Access. You have to pay for all these online things that are $70, $30, $20 a month. And then you have to go to classes and auditions and traveling. And it's just a lot of work for really not a good payout. Like, if you were going to get $40,000 for doing one commercial, then it would be worth it. But you don't get that type of money anymore. The industry has changed a lot because of how easy it is to submit and how easy it is to self-submit. Like, back in the day, in order to go to an audition, you would have to look in the newspaper, you'd have to go to castings. It was like this big thing. Now, a lot of it's done at home. Like, you can film yourself at home and send it in, so then you don't even have to, like, go into the room, you know? I do love acting, and I always will, but I just don't like the career, and it's really not for me, and I'm not booking things. So I don't really want to stay in LA either. And Dave actually does book stuff. Like, he's been in many commercials, and he was just in a pilot, and he does book stuff because he has kind of that, like, look, you know? But I haven't been. I have not been booking anything, so and even, like, Dave, when he did that pilot a week or 2 weeks ago, he had said that it was kind of like for him the nail in the coffin, that he just wanted to get out of LA because he was in a pilot, like a, you know, a good pilot, like a professional pilot, and you would just sit around the whole day. You would film a scene for a few minutes and then you'd sit around the whole day. And it's like, you know, even though they're filming a pilot, like, you don't get paid that much on top of it, but it's like, that's the dream, is like you work and work and work so you can be this. And so Dave was over it. Personally, I had been over it for kind of a while, and I love Dave, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with Dave anymore, is what I would say. I love Dave. Dave loves me. We love each other, but I don't know if we are in love with each other the way that we once were. Going back 4 years ago, you know, we loved each other and we really wanted to be there for each other, but then it almost became that we were just comfortable, you know? Like, he would wake me up with breakfast every day, and he would always make me food and order food for us, and he would do everything for me. He would drive everywhere. I didn't drive a car for 6 months, you know? He would just drive everywhere, and he did everything, and he was so just like hands-on. And whenever anything, you know, I would call him, like he was my parent. Like, I would call him, you know, this is going on, you know, he would make all the appointments, he would pay all the bills. I mean, we would split the money, you know, he would tell me how much I owe him and I would give him the money, but he would do all the bills and he would do everything. And that's just never who I've been. Like, I've never been somebody who has, like, let a man kind of do everything for me. And my parents were never really that hands-on. So this was the first time in my life I really had somebody that truly cared about me, regardless of anything bad that I did, would take care of me and make sure I was safe and everything was okay, which was great. But at the same time, I feel like I definitely lost some of my independence because I wasn't driving myself. I wasn't even cooking for myself. I wasn't really cleaning. I wasn't really doing anything. Dave was doing everything, you know? So I feel like it just kind of, I was so, like, kept. I was so well taken care of that I didn't want to leave. And also, like, my parents and my family and my friends, everybody loves Dave. You know, Dave's a great person. Of course everyone's going to love him. So our relationship for a while has just been kind of lacking in, like, the love part. You know, it's like we love each other, but are we in love with each other? More so of just a commonwealth like relationship, I guess, was happening. So Dave wanted to move to Seattle. I did not want to move to Seattle. I already thought we were like gonna break up because of that. And in my mind, I kind of thought that that was gonna happen. And then Dave, you know, had messaged the landlord and asked the landlord, and, you know, he had talked to some people and said he was gonna move there. So at first, I was really against it. And then Dave pretty much broke up with me because he said that he had to go there. So at first I was like, good, F you, I don't need you, like, I don't need you, I can do everything myself, good. And then he came to the house with his friend flew in, and he took all of his stuff. He took some of his stuff, but he took his stuff and he left. And I was still like, oh, I'm fine. And then I kind of had like a nervous breakdown because I was like, I can't move all of the stuff by myself. I can't pack by myself. I can't find a place by myself. I can't do anything by myself. I need Dave. Like, we have to be together. You know, I love him and he's a great man and he takes care of me. And if we're not in a relationship, I'm going to have to pack this whole house myself. If we're not in a relationship, I'm going to have to find a mover. If we're not in a relationship, I'm going to have to do this and I'm going to have to do that. And I don't even drive. And Dave's got to take care of me. I got to be with Dave. So then he had actually blocked my phone, but I didn't even know this because I hadn't been calling him. So then finally I kept calling him, and my mom was like crying, and my mom was like, I love Dave so much, and my dad was really upset, and everybody was kind of really upset about how much they love Dave and about how you're doing. My mom said, you're doing, or you're making the worst mistake of your life, and you're going to regret this forever, and you're going to look back on this and regret this, and you love Dave, and you have to be with Dave. Dave's the best man ever. And, you know, so my mom was in my ear kind of like, you need Dave. And then Dave and I talked. I like sent him an email, and he called me, and we talked, and he came over here, and I just like wanted him to hold me. I just wanted him to hug me. I wanted him to kiss me and tell me everything was okay and hold my hand through life and tell me, you know, things were going to be good, and I wanted him to take care of me. So he came over here, and I just was a mess. Like, I literally begged him. I was like, please let me move with you to Seattle. Please let me move with you. Like, I'll do anything. I'll cook for you. I'll clean for you. You'll come home every night to a good meal. I will make sure that I'm the best girlfriend in the world. I will never look at another man. I will do everything. Like, I was like, I will do everything. I was praying on my hands and knees. I was like, God, please help me, you know? I just said, I need this. Like, I can't live without Dave. Like, I can't do anything without Dave. Like, you know, it wasn't that I was heartbroken. I was more so in panic mode about having to pack and having to move and having to do this stuff on my own because I haven't done anything really on my own since I met Dave 4 years ago, you know? Or when we got in a relationship 4 years ago, because we were friends before that. So I was like, I need Dave, I need him, you know, I'm gonna die. Like, and I was just hysterically crying. I couldn't breathe. I was crying, and I'm laying in the bed with the dogs, and I'm just laying there, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. And I'm looking at the dogs, and I'm like, well, I can't kill myself because the dogs. I'm like thinking out logistically. I'm like, well, cannot kill myself because Mochi doesn't like other people, and Yuki needs me. Yuki's been with me for, you know, 10 years. Like, I can't abandon her. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll wait till the dogs die. When the dogs die of old age, I will then kill myself. Like, I'm literally laying there, like, thinking about this. Like, I'm planning this, like, suicide out in my brain. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till the dogs die of old age. Okay, and then, yeah, Mochi's 4. Okay, so I'm gonna have to wait about 10 years, and then I'll die. Like, you know, just crazy. Like, my mind was racing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I literally did not eat for 2 days. I couldn't eat. I could not sleep. I'm puking because I'm crying so much. I was like a wreck, and I was just shaking. I was just sitting and shaking and like looking in a corner, just like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to do this. And I was praying a lot. Like, I was just asking God for strength. I was also praying that Dave came to his senses and took me back. And let me move with him to Washington. I was also praying that, you know, that this was like all this good stuff. I'm listening to these sermons on my phone. My friend Rachel, hey, if you're watching, sent me this, it's a Baptist church, and they do online preaching and stuff. it's not like a podcast, it's like just like videos of the services. And I listened to so many of those. I mean, I was like binge watching like 12 hours of these sermons. And this guy, I watched one about, it was the Easter one, and he talked about how nothing is an ending, everything is a beginning. So when Jesus died, it was not an ending, it was a beginning, because then he was reborn. You know, so it's kind of like that philosophy that nothing is an ending, everything is a beginning. So I just kept saying that to myself. I was like, nothing is an ending, everything is a beginning. Nothing is an ending, like, or this is a beginning, or nothing's an ending, this is a beginning. So I'm like, nothing is an ending, this is a beginning. Like I kept saying that to myself, like, you know. And then Dave came over, and I'm just like crying. I'm grabbing at his feet, and I'm screaming for him to take me back. Like, please take me back, please, please. And he said, okay, like, if you're gonna change, if you're gonna do more, if you're gonna, congratulations, or we're proud of you, or good job. You know, my parents didn't come to my college graduation, so I did not grow up with people that were my cheerleaders. So, but Dave was always my cheerleader, but I was never Dave's cheerleader because I didn't know how to be a cheerleader. So Dave was like, you're going to be my cheerleader, right? And I was like, yes, I'm going to be your cheerleader, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be the best person I can, and I'm going to move to Seattle, and I'm going to wear flannel, and I'm going to get some rain boots, and I'm going to, you know, do this, and I'm going to do that. And I was like, but what, you know, I want to go to esthetician school. So Dave was like, yeah, like, you can go to esthetician school there. You know, his mom and his sister, they were like looking up esthetician schools, and I'm looking up esthetician schools, and I'm calling esthetician schools. And Dave was staying at a hotel near us, so we're both at the hotel, and we're swimming and partying, or not partying, but we're like swimming and like, I mean partying in the way of like eating treats and watching TV, and giving the dog just treats. So we're both just like having such a good time, and like, you know, we love each other, and everything's great, and everything's good, and we're gonna work out, and now we're gonna be together, and this is wonderful, my life's back together. Called my mom. My mom was like, okay. My mom was like crying. My mom was so happy. My dad was so happy. Everybody's happy. We're back together. And then once Dave and I were back together, and there was a solid plan of like, gonna move to Seattle, going to do this, going to do that, then things started to fall apart again, because Dave wanted me to pack up all my stuff and immediately move to Seattle, where I was like, I can't do that immediately. Like, we already put our he put our 30 days notice in, so I had already put our 30 days notice in, but I need time to pack. I can't just, I have a lot of expensive and nice things. I can't just throw my stuff in a box and leave. Like, all the furniture is mine. Dave had like 2 pieces of furniture, and he left them. You know, everything is pretty much mine in the house, and I'm like, I need to, you know, go and not just pack my stuff. There's a lot of stuff, you know, I want to like declutter at the same time. I don't want to like move there with a bunch of shit, you know. So I've already donated, and I've done a lot of that, but I was like, no, I need time to go through everything, see what I want to bring, pack my stuff nicely, you know, get my furniture wrapped, get my furniture sent out, and do this and do that, and, you know, I need to do this and I need to do that, and all this stuff. And Dave just wanted me to move there immediately, and I was like, I need a little more time than that, you know. So he was upset about that I wasn't like ready to just go right then, and, you know, that I wanted to wait until our month was up so I could slowly, you know, pack my stuff up, and it wasn't super stressful. And then when we get to Washington, I'm then gonna go visit my family for like a month, and my dad's not doing great health-wise. My mom's never been really good health-wise, so I was like, I'm gonna go visit my parents and visit my friends and family for like a month, and then I'll come back. And then, you know, but there really wasn't much for me in Washington other than Dave and the school. But then I would be certified to work in Washington as an esthetician, but I really wanted to live in California, so I would have to retake the test. Like, I was calling and figuring out like how, like, I would have to retake the exam, which isn't that big of a deal, but it's like, why get certified in a different state that you want to live in? Dave had a real problem with me wanting to move, or me wanting to go visit Boston for a month, because he was like, I want to move out there, and I want to work, and I want to do this and get this business, like, you know, and make that cheddar and do this and do that. And like, he's really driven about it. And I was like, well, I do too, but I want to go visit my family. I visit them every summer. It's like the best time in Massachusetts. I want to see all my friends and family. You know, I'm excited to see everybody. And he's like, oh, well, I think you should just go for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, you know, I only really go like once or twice a year. I want to go for longer than that. And he's like, I thought you were, you know, serious about this. And I'm like, I am serious. And so he was a little upset about that. And then I was like, well, there's really nothing there for me. And then I'm like, well, could I have a job with the company? And he's like, yeah, like you could do this. So I was like, okay. So I'm all excited. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to have a job. I'm going to go to school. Dave and I are going to live together. And he's like, well, I'm going to go find the place. So Dave was going to go by himself and find us a place. And I was going to stay here and pack up everything. But I guess, like, I wasn't packing stuff up as fast as Dave wanted, and then he didn't really want me to go on the trip to see my family for a month. He really wanted me to only go for 2 weeks because he really wanted me to be, like, passionate about, you know, like, working there and, you know, passionate about living there. And I started just, like, having a lot of doubts. I was like, you know, I don't want to live there. I mean, I was like thinking, okay, well, I'm going to work, I'm going to save some money, I'm going to work and then this, and then I'm going to buy a house. And I'm like, buy a house. Like, I kept saying that. I was like, I'm going to work and do this and then buy a house in Palm Springs. I'm going to work, save a lot of money, and then I'm going to go to Palm Springs and I'm going to buy a house. And I kept like telling myself this. But then also, because Dave wanted to just go and find a place, he didn't want to help me pack up and move and cancel any of like the water or power. He just wanted to go. And I started realizing, I was like, you know, is it that I'm scared about being alone and I'm scared about not having the comfort of Dave? Or is it that I love him so much I can't let him go? And I was like, you know, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling like I was going to die anymore. I wasn't feeling like I needed to plan out my suicide. I wasn't thinking like, I wasn't heartbroken. I was more so, I realized that I was just panicked about doing stuff on my own. But I would have been doing that stuff on my own anyways. And then Dave and I were driving and we went to Walmart. And at Walmart, I was like, oh, I need toilet paper. So he grabbed like this thing of 3 rolls of toilet paper. And I'm like, no, grab the 24 pack. And he's like, why would I grab the 24 pack? And I was like, because I need to pee. And he's like, well, how long are you planning on being here for? I'm like, I don't know, you know, a month or something so I could pack up. And that's when he like realized that I did not plan on just immediately throwing my stuff in a car and moving there. And that's when he like, you know, really started becoming extra agitated and more like, well, I need to move there and I need to do this. And I think he also started realizing that by me moving there, it's like, it's added stress on him. It's, you know, it's added stress about the fact that I don't want to move there and I wouldn't really be happy there. It's also added stress that, you know, he might have to take care of me instead of having to work a full-time job, you know, instead where he used to work from home, you know, and I think he started realizing like how difficult it would be to have me there. And I started realizing how difficult it would be to be there. And am I really gonna do things that I don't want to do because of a man? As much as I love Dave, I love me too. And I need to do what's right for me because I have a short life. And why am I thinking about, oh, in 5 years, I'm going to move to Palm Springs. Why don't I just move to Palm Springs? So we kind of got into like a stupid fight about nothing and like kind of screamed at each other. And then he was like, drop me off at the hotel. So dropped me off at the hotel. Then I came back home and I took a bath. And then he called me and he's apologized for like being crazy and screaming and, you know, that we didn't talk really about like when we were going to move or anything. So he was kind of like, you know, he didn't really know what was going on. So he was apologizing and I accepted his apology. And then he asked if he could come over here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just taking a bath. So I'm just going to like take a bath and relax. So he came over here, or, you know, he asked me if he could come over here. I don't think at this point he asked me if he could come over here. I think he just took an Uber here and didn't tell me. So I'm in the bathroom and he comes in the bathroom and he starts like talking to me like he wanted to talk. And I was like, look, I'm just really stressed out right now. I just want to take a bath and relax for like a half hour and then we can talk. And he's like, no, like talk to me. And he's like yelling at me or like raising his voice about talking and about like, you know, are you serious? Are you this? Are you that? Are you going to change? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Is this going to change? And he starts like bringing up like every mistake I've ever made. Are you going to do this again? Are you going to do that again? This and that and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I could kind of tell that he was like unraveling because he was probably thinking like, I'm going to have to take care of her. I'm going to have to do this. She's going to not do this. She's going to be like this and I'm going to have to do this. And I think I was seeing that. And then, so he's yelling at me. I'm yelling at him to get out of the bathroom so I can relax. So he goes in the bedroom, but then he actually leaves, and I didn't know this. So I get out of the bath, and I'm actually in the bathtub again, and he calls me to apologize again. And then he says, can I come over? And I said, yes, come over. So then I get out of the bath, he comes over, we're watching TV. This photographer that just had a photo shoot with sent me some proofs. So I open the computer, and I'm looking at the proofs. And he just is like staring at the computer. Like he's all the way on my side of the bed just staring at the computer while I'm looking at the proofs. And I was like, hey, do you mind not looking at the proofs? Because I want to go through them and I don't want anybody else's opinion. I just want to see what I want. And then I'm going to like narrow it down and I'll let you know. Like, I'll let you know when I want your opinion. And he's like, doesn't say anything. It's just staring with his mouth open, like at the pictures. So I'm like clicking them, and then he's like, oh, that's bad. And I'm, okay, like, please, like, don't give me your opinions. I just like, oh, sorry, my phone just went off. I was like, don't give me your opinions. I just want to, look at the pictures. And then I had my eyes closed in one, and he's like, oh, that's a good one. And it was just like really irritating me. Like, I feel like he was trying to bother me. So he wouldn't stop looking at the computer, and he kept commenting on every picture I was looking at. So I was just like, you're really invading my space. So I'm getting really heated. He's just staring at the computer, not saying anything. So I shut the computer. I put it over on the desk. I turn off the TV because I kept saying to him, can you just watch TV? And he wouldn't. So I turn off the computer. I turn off the TV. I just get back in the bed, put the covers over me, and turn off the light. I'm like going to sleep. And he gets up and he grabs his bag and he's like, I'm leaving. This is exactly why I don't want to be with you. It was just like a stupid fight, but it was kind of like, we're yelling at each other, and he left and I did not care. He left and I was not that person I was a few days ago. I was not helpless. I was not lost. I was me. I just felt like I was me immediately. Like I didn't feel like I needed him to hug me and hold me. I felt like I was okay and I'm gonna be okay. And the next day my mom called and she was like, well, I talked to Dave. That's another thing, is that he would call my parents. Like when we would get in a fight, he would call my parents to tell them, which really bothered me and still bothers me because it makes me feel like my parents are on his side and not on my side, which I don't think that they are. I think they are on his side. And that's a story for another day, but my parents are, well, not my parents, but my mom especially has always kind of been like, if somebody tells her, literally, I had a roommate who my mom never met a day in her life, and that roommate told my mom a bunch of lies, and my mom believed those lies. That's just how, sorry, my phone, that's just how my mom is, and I don't know why, and there's nothing I can tell you other than it's always been like that, and yeah, I don't know. Another story entirely. So he called my mom before I even got to talk to her. So my mom called me and she's like, well, Dave said that he's driving to Washington tonight and that he's leaving without you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. And I just didn't feel the same. I wasn't crushed anymore. I felt like I could stand on my own 2 feet and I would be fine. And I don't know if that was like, God giving me the strength that I needed, or if that was me just realizing I can do it on my own, that I'm an independent, strong woman and I don't need a man. I don't need anybody to hold my hand or hug me or, tell me everything's okay, because I'm telling myself everything's okay. And that was about a week ago. And a few days after that, I was just laying on the couch with the kids, and there's no way that I can't be reminded about things about Dave. We've been together for 4 years. We lived together. He's the first guy I ever lived in a house with, signed a lease with, So I was doing something, and you know, he'll always be Mochi and Yuki's dad. Like, he would pay for half their food, half their bills, half their everything, you know, half their haircuts. Like, he paid for so much that I feel like he is more their father than any man I've ever been with, especially because, you know, Mochi was a baby when Dave came in the picture, and, you know, I've had boyfriends for many, many years before Dave with Yuki, and 6 years, you know, and Yuki never, like, I never would have called any of those guys her father, you know, it was always Yuki was my dog. But with Dave, it really was that he was their father. He really was, you know, like, he truly cares about them, and he truly takes care of them and loves them and nurtures them. So something happened, and I don't even know what it was, but I sent him an email, and I was just like, hey, I hope you're doing okay. I went to the homeless shelter today, and I brought some blankets, and I brought some books, and I talked to a few of the guys, and they were really nice. There was one who didn't want to talk to me. I felt really bad for him. And then I went here for lunch, and I had this, and it was really fun, and the food was delicious. And then I went into this, and you know, Yuki is laying on my lap right now, and she's snoring. She's so cute, and they miss you. I hope you're doing okay. I just sent him this, like, email being really nice and just saying, like, you know, just telling him what I did that day, and pretty much just told him, like, you know, I miss him, and that I hope he's doing well, and I hope he's, you know, having a good drive, and I hope he's being safe, and I love him, and I hope we'll always be friends, and he'll always be my daddy bear, and I'll always be his baby bear, and I'm just, you know, I love him, and he's my best friend, and I hope that we can, you know, talk on the phone sometimes. And then he immediately called me and was like, hey, like, I'm in San Francisco, you know, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good, you know, and we just talked, and, you know, cried a little, but it wasn't, you know, I wasn't, like, hysterical anymore, and I was just like, you know, I miss you. And he's like, I miss you too, and which is normal. It's normal to miss somebody that you've been around every day for 4 years and you're not around them anymore. You know, that's, of course that's normal to miss them. Of course it's normal to have times when, you know, I'll see something of his and I just like, oh, I cry, or like, I'm just like, oh, I'm sad. But we talk on the phone. Like, I talk to him all the time. We probably talk 10 times a day. We've talked every time before we've gone to bed. We've talked every day. So it makes it easier because I don't feel like Dave is dead. You know, I've had past relationships where we stopped talking when we broke up, and then it was really painful because there wasn't like closure, but it wasn't like that person was there anymore. Which with Dave, it's like we truly love each other. So we do talk every day because we genuinely enjoy talking to each other. And maybe in the future we'll get back together. I don't know. I really don't. But I do plan on moving to Palm Springs or Palm Desert, and I do plan on attending esthetician school, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for my next chapter in life because this has just been such, you know, I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed. And I'm so blessed that I met Dave, and I love him so much. And I'm so blessed that I have my kids. I have Mochi and Yuki, and, you know, I really feel like I learned so much and I changed so much because of Dave. And he really made me realize, like, good things about me. And he really made me realize a lot of good things about other people, and that not all men are pieces of shit, and not all men are rapists, and not all men are bad. And, you know, he really taught me about a lot of things in life, and I will forever love him, forever be grateful for him for being such a good man and for teaching me so much. And I'm going to visit him in Seattle, and he's going to visit me, and I'm going to go to school, and I don't know, it's like, this is just a new chapter, and I'm so happy. And I'm so happy that I realized that I'm strong enough to do this on my own, because I've been driving myself everywhere. I've been grocery shopping. I've been getting up early. I've been going to bed and not feeling guilty because I slept so much. I've been actually, like, really doing a lot of stuff that I stopped doing for myself. And it feels good. So that is what happened, and I'm okay, and Dave's okay, and I couldn't have asked for, like, a better outcome. I still don't know where I'm going to move, and I still don't know, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't have an apartment picked out or anything, but I'm hopeful, and I'll do another video for you guys on that. This video is probably really long at this point, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Please leave me any comments if you want, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Oh,